Excuse the interruption, but I'm Allie Heisler. Christian, this is our last episode of ETI. Are you going to miss it?
I'm Christian Quovang. I won't miss it at all as long as I get to keep my fortune teller outfit and jewelry.
So you don't want the cop uniform?
Come to think of it, those handcuffs might come in handy. Thanks for reminding me.
Hello, boys and girls. Today we have a variety of segments including Good Cop, Bad Cop, Fortune Teller, and Toss-Up. But we'll start off the show with headlines. Christian, was your junior prom all that you imagined it to be?
Well, being that I'm a very good dancer, I'm very into the prom situation. I don't really enjoy having all the build-up before it, but during the dancing and the after prom party, prom is probably one of my favorite activities of the year.
I had a lot of fun too. My dance moves definitely didn't compare to you or Jaden's, but I worked up a sweat trying to compete. I was pleasantly surprised with how much Zach and Jacob danced, though. I've never seen that side of them, and I must admit, they have a pretty impressive cha-cha slide.
Allie, there seem to be a lot of blue prom dresses this year. Did the girls plan that?
How observant, Christian. I don't think so, but blue is definitely the popular color this year. I'd say almost half the dresses were some shade of blue, while the others who had different colors clearly didn't get the memo. Christian, I know this is a sensitive question, but how are you recovering after you didn't get voted for prom king?
Well, going into the prom, I expected to get the victory, but afterwards I let out a 3-hour cry and now I think I'm good. Allie, how are you preparing for graduation this year?
I've been pretty busy getting my announcements in the mail, but my mom has been the driving force for the festivities that will be happening at my open house. She's been planning and baking for the past month. For those of you who love food, I'll give you a quick sneak peek. Tacos, burgers, pulled pork sandwiches, and food from Cool Beans are all some of the items on the menu for open houses of this year's senior class. Christian, what is your favorite part of graduation?
My favorite part of graduation, since I'm not graduating, would have to be the open houses. I love being able to go to different places and try all of their abundance of food. I mean, come on, who can turn down a free barbecue and lemonade? Allie, how was your senior trip this year?
It was really fun. I think my favorite part of the senior trip was paintballing because I've never done that before. Most of the seniors came back with some pretty nice battle wounds, but how can we not with Jeff's quick trigger finger? It was like he had a machine gun or something. Along with paintballing, we went to a high ropes course, explored around Lake Superior, played laser tag, and swam at the water park in our hotel. It was a really fun weekend. Christian, how have all the spring activities been going for the North Star students?
So far in the spring season, the baseball team has had a pretty predictable start. They've won a few and they've lost a few. The track team has been doing well, even with the lack of meets they have attended. The most impressive spring activity so far has been the music contest. More than half of the group starred and around 35 people attended the state competition. That's it for headlines. Now we'll take a short break so we can get ready for cop time. Welcome to the precinct. I'm Officer Quovang along with Officer Hagler. We're going to play a little good cop, bad cop. Sarah, prom. Is it worth it?
I'll be the bad cop on this one and say prom is definitely not worth it. It costs a lot of money for the decorations, food, and DJ, as well as all the after prom party activities and prizes. Not to mention what the girls spend on their dresses, flowers, and their other prom accessories. It gets to be quite expensive just for one night.
Since I have no other choice but to be the good cop, I will see if I can come up with a few nice things about the prom. The food is pretty good, which depends on who makes your food. The music can be okay, depending on the DJ. And my favorite part is being able to dance without worrying about what other people think of you. I don't mean to brag, but have you seen my moves?
Christian, is kickball a worthwhile activity?
I'm going to be the bad cop on this one and say kickball on the last day of school couldn't be a worse idea. We students need to have a full year of education before we journey off into the summer. We need more days of school, if you ask me. Teachers, give me some more homework.
Kickball on the last day of school is a good idea, in my opinion, so I'll be the good cop. It is not a difficult game to play, so everyone can participate. And it also is one last way to have fun with all your classmates in school before summer officially begins.
Sarah, should honor students be recognized at the end of the year?
I'll be the good cop and you can be the bad cop. I think honor students should be recognized for their achievements. Athletes are recognized for their hard work on the court, so why shouldn't students be recognized for working hard to get good grades in the classroom?
I guess I'll be the bad cop on this subject because I don't like when people are left out of things. I mean, you don't leave people out when you're playing a game, so why leave them out when it comes to school? We all come here, so we should all be recognized. That's it for Good Cop, Bad Cop. Coming up next, we have Fortune Teller. Simsalabim and Open Sesame, boys and girls. It's time for Fortune Teller. I'm joined by Gypsy Heisler, and now let's take the first call.
Hi, Christian. Do you see the baseball team having a winning record this year?
This year's baseball team is a lot younger than the one last year, so it'll be very difficult for them to be a premier team in the state. It'll help them a lot that the whole region is down, but I think this is a rebuilding year for North Star. I look into the crystal ball and don't see it happening.
If you look at the region, there are a lot of teams who are at the bottom, and that is putting it nicely. You guys play Dunseith and Rolette, so you're basically guaranteed victories there, and by then, you're already halfway to a winning record. I see it happening.
Now let's take the next call.
Hey guys, do you see Riley Legacy making it to the state track meet?
With the lack of meets due to weather, I think a journey to the state track meet could be a challenge for any track athlete. They have fewer chances to qualify, but I believe Legacy will pull through. He's placed no worse than 4th in all the meets so far. I predict him qualifying in regionals.
Last year was a pleasant surprise to see that he made it, and now that he has the experience, I think that'll be a more familiar road to the state. And I mean, come on, it's running. How can you get worse at that? I look into the crystal ball and see it happening. Now let's take the next call.
What's up, guys? Do you see the teachers winning the annual kickball game this year?
In the past, the teachers have not brought their game to the kickball finale, but this year looks like a different story. With the off-season pickups of Greenlee and Vogt, they will have more power in their lineup. I also hear that Mr. Peterson has been working on his off-speed pitches, so watch out for a lot of strikeouts this time around. I look into the crystal ball and see Mr. P throwing a perfect game.
I want to say yes, but I look into the crystal ball and see another student victory. Vogt and Greenlee may add some power to the lineup, but their lack of experience will be their downfall. I believe they will add depth to the teachers' team in the future, but as for their rookie season, they won't be able to handle the pressure of having the entire student body rooting against them. And now it's time for one last break.
I'm Sarah Hagler, and it's toss-up time. First toss-up. Who is the better-looking assistant, Olson or Vogt?
This is a tough one, but I'm going to have to go with the boys' team on this one because they have Mr. Vogt and Mr. Haugen. I'm not the rating type, but on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give them both a solid 9.9.
I know we're supposed to try and pick opposite sides on these toss-ups, but I can't in good conscience go with anyone but Mr. Vogt on this one. Have you seen that guy in the shower? That man is buff. Plus, he's got a great personality, and I think he even likes taking long walks on the beach.
Second toss-up. Who is the better golfer, Jacob or Kaylee?
Most of the time, I side with the men, but without a doubt, Kaylee is definitely the better golfer. With her powerful drive and her precise chipping game, she might be one of the best golfers in the state. I mean, have you seen how excited she gets about the golf season? Her passion could drive her straight to the LPGA.
I suppose I should side with the family on this one because Jacob is all business when it comes to golf. He eats, sleeps, and breathes it. In the summers, he's always out on the course working on his game, and he lives for the spring sports season. Next.
There was a lot of feedback from our previous episode when we used George Clooney to portray Mr. Hagler. Some people thought Bob Saget would have been a better choice. What do you think? Toss-up. Who does Mr. Hagler resemble more, George Clooney or Bob Saget?
Teaching is something Mr. Hagler does during the day, but if you've seen him after hours, he resembles a young George Clooney. The way he walks, the way he talks, his way with the ladies. All Clooney, all the time.
I mean, come on, have you ever seen the way Mr. Hagler goes about himself? He basically screams Bob Saget. They have the same sense of humor, they like things squeaky clean, and have you seen them in Full House? The father quality they both portray is the kind of dad that I would love to have. That's it for Toss-Up. Now it's time for the big finish. Allie, how did Mr. Greenlee do running that spotlight?
Well, it was his first time, so I can't be too hard on him, but he definitely needs to work on his technique. There are a few times that he got a little carried away, and it seemed like the light was shining more on his wife than on the couples walking through. Christian, is it true that the 4x8 relay is the best that the school has ever seen?
They've had some pretty impressive times so far this year, and they seem to be getting faster every time. If they keep this up, they will be a shoo-in for the state track meet. Allie, were the prizes this year better than last year?
Well, you can't really top $20 in quarters, but I think there are more big prizes this year than last year. Although, don't ask me what they were, because they read the names off so fast, I couldn't even keep track. I was too focused on listening for my name so that I'd be able to sprint up there and grab a good prize. Let's just say I made bank. Christian, where in the world did you get your light-up apparel?
Well, I don't like to give away my sources, but I got them online the night before prom. Let me tell you, Amazon has some sweet ties. That's it for this episode. We'll try and do better next time. Good night, knuckleheads.
Good night, Can Do.